The cameras flashed. The political world held its breath. And in the heart of Washington, D.C., a scandal was about to explode, mixing ambition, betrayal, and the kind of drama Hollywood could only dream of.
It's a story that has everything: a star reporter, a presidential candidate, and a shocking double betrayal.
Welcome to Starscope Report.
Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today we are diving deep into a spectacular collapse of professional ethics that rocked the media establishment.
The story that kicked it all off involves journalist Olivia Nuzzi and what she called an intimate digital relationship with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Right, who was at the time a presidential candidate. This story it exploded.
But it quickly became clear this was just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, it was the starting point for a much, much messier saga.
So our mission today is to really unpack this whole thing. We need to look at Olivia Nuzzi's career, her, really fast rise to fame.
She was a correspondent for New York Magazine, known for getting incredible access.
Exactly. And we'll trace the domino effect that led to her firing, her breakup with fellow journalist Ryan Lizza, and then the shocking counterclaims that they changed everything.
We thought the RFK Jr. relationship was the whole story. We were so wrong. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay, so let's start with that central conflict, the Nuzzi and RFK Jr. digital affair.
She profiled him in November 2023.
Yeah.
And the sources are really clear on this. Immediately after that profile was published, the relationship turned personal.
Oh, we have to stop there for a second. I mean, for a top political journalist to cross that line with someone she just profiled.
A candidate for president, no less.
It's just a massive, automatic professional failure. There's no gray area there.
And Nuzzi actually brought all this out into the open herself, in her memoir, American Canto.
Right. She tried to frame the narrative.
She insisted it was purely an emotional and digital connection, never physical. But the communications she detailed.
Yeah.
Wow. They blur every single possible line.
I mean, think about the dynamic. RFK Jr. was dealing with that brainworm scare revelation at the time.
A huge story.
A huge health story. And he's talking to Nuzzi about it, allegedly telling her, baby, don't worry. He even supposedly promised to take a bullet for her.
That is not reporter source talk. That is, something else entirely.
It's romantic reassurance. And the ethical breach went even deeper than that.
This is the part that I think really sealed her fate professionally.
Sure. Nuzzi openly admitted in her own book that she was advising him on campaign issues.
She even mentioned a specific one, the dead bear carcass story. It was a weird political moment, but she gave him counsel on it.
And that's the absolute red line. A reporter observes, they don't participate. You can't be a strategist for the person you're covering. Your neutrality is just gone.
So when this all broke in September 2024, the fallout was fast.
Very fast. New York Magazine put her on leave, said it was a clear violation of their standards, and a month later she had officially parted ways with them.
And her personal life imploded at the same time. Her engagement to Ryan Lizza, who's the chief Washington correspondent for Politico, it ended immediately.
A total collapse. But here's the twist. And later in the episode, we'll talk about the even bigger twist nobody saw coming.
Right. So despite being fired for this, a career-ending kind of mistake.
In another era, it would have been.
She lands this massive new job in September 2025 as the West Coast editor for Vanity Fair.
Which is fascinating. It really suggests a successful monetization of notoriety.
So does this mean that in today's media world, a big brand and a controversial story are more valuable than strict ethical rules?
It kind of seems that way. Her entire brand was built on getting close to power, and the controversy itself just made her an even bigger name for a magazine like Vanity Fair.
Which leans into celebrity and culture.
Exactly. They seem to value the fame she had more than the reason she lost her last job.
It's a dangerous precedent. And if you're loving these kinds of twists, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even more coming up.
So the fallout wasn't just about a new job. While Nuzzi was, moving on, things got intensely personal. And very legal.
Let's talk about RFK Jr.'s wife, the actress Cheryl Hines. Her response was, I think, strategically brilliant.
Oh, absolutely. She addressed it head-on in her own memoir, unscripted. She completely took control of her side of the story.
She talked about how she was on vacation in Italy when the news broke, and she felt so distant and unimportant. It paints this picture of total betrayal.
It does. But then she pivots. She uses that vulnerability to show strength.
Right. She wrote that when she got home, They locked themselves in our room and laid it all on the pee table, and that they tightened our ties that bind.
It's a classic political move. Frame the scandal as an external attack that the marriage survived, making them look stronger than ever.
And it worked. She later just dismissed Nizzi on a podcast, telling the host to consider the source. A total power move.
So the political marriage survived, the journalistic relationship, however.
It turned into all-out war. Which brings us to the question, what happened between Olivia Nuzzi and Ryan Lizza?
Well, the court filings in Washington, D.C. lay out a staggering set of claims. Nuzzi sued Lizza, her ex-fiancé, alleging this campaign of harassment and blackmail.
And this supposedly started in July 2024, before the RFK Jr. story even went public.
And these aren't just, vague accusations. She specifically accused Lizza of hacking and stealing her personal device.
Which would have her notes, her communications, everything.
Everything. And she claims he threatened to destroy her career if she didn't get back together with him.
But the most calculated claim, the one that really weaponizes his position in DC media,
is that he impersonated an anonymous campaign operative to leak the RFK Jr. affair to her bosses at New York Magazine.
And as a top correspondent for Politico, he would know exactly how to do that. He had the credibility, the network.
He wasn't just a scorned ex. He was allegedly using his professional power to engineer her downfall.
And we have to mention Liz's own history here. He was fired from The New Yorker back in 2017 for improper sexual conduct.
That's crucial context. It shows the zero-tolerance environment Nuzzi was in, and maybe why Lizza would know exactly what kind of leak would do the most damage.
Lizza, for his part, denied everything. He called her accusations false and fantastical falsehoods designed to distract from her own mistakes.
So you've got this nightmare scenario of alleged cybercrime and sabotage playing out in court. It's terrifying.
It really is. And that's not even the wildest part. Because Lizza hinted the betrayal started years earlier with a famous ex-governor known for his own infamous scandal. Stay tuned for the shocking twist nobody saw coming.
So just as Nuzzi is trying to reclaim her story with her memoir excerpt in Vanity Fair in November 2025, Lizza strikes back.
The timing was surgical. He published a long essay on his own newsletter, Talos News.
Right when she was on her big press tour, guaranteeing maximum attention for his side of the story.
And the bombshell he dropped was just unbelievable.
It was an M. Night Shyamalan twist.
He alleged that Nuzzi had a prior, and this time physical, affair with another political figure she was covering, former South Carolina Governor Mark Sanford.
The Appalachian Trail guy.
The guy famous for his own massive infidelity scandal. This just changes the whole narrative.
Completely. The RFK Jr. story could be framed as a one-time lapse in judgment, but adding Sanford suggests a pattern of behavior.
Lizza claimed he found out back in March 2020. He says he found an unfinished love letter Nuzzi had written to Mark.
And the level of detail he provided is what makes it so devastating. He said it was written on Kimpton Hotel stationery, that he found it in her backpack.
He even quoted a line from it. "If I swallowed every drop of water from the tower above your house, I would still thirst for you."
I mean, that is just, you can't make that up. It's so specific.
And Alyssa put it in context. Nuzzi had profiled Sanford in 2019 when he was briefly challenging Donald Trump. Lizza said he knew their joint book project was dead in that moment because she'd crossed a journalistic red line.
It's a brutal tactical move. He reframes the RFK Jr. affair as just the latest example of her prioritizing access and personal connection over ethics.
The public reaction was just an explosion online. People were calling it absolutely bonkers, surreal. But beyond the gossip, what does this all say about the media landscape?
Well, it reinforces a really damaging stereotype, right? That DC journalists are just trading neutrality for insider access and celebrity.
And then when it all blows up, they turn the chaos into content. Nuzzi gets a book deal. Lizza gets a viral essay for his newsletter.
It actively contributes to why public trust in the media is at a historic low. There was a Gallup poll recently.
I saw that.
Only 28% of people said they have a great deal or fair amount of trust in news institutions. And when you see stories like this, it's not hard to understand why that number is so low.
So we've unpacked a truly wild story. The RFK Jr. scandal was just the public trigger for this massive high-stakes battle.
It really was. I think the central insight for you, the listener, is just how valuable controversy is now. This whole thing is a case study in monetizing failure.
Both Nuzzi and Lizza turned their personal and professional collapse into a public spectacle for commercial gain.
Failure became a product. Nuzzi got a prestigious job. Lizza got clicks and subscribers. It's a very modern and maybe cynical outcome.
And this whole saga, especially the allegations of hacking and weaponizing private messages, it just exposes a huge vulnerability.
Right. And that leads to a final provocative thought. If the private communications of high-profile journalists are this open to being weaponized by the people they trust
What
most.
does that mean for the security of their sources?
Exactly. What does it mean for the future of investigative political reporting itself? When the reporter's private life becomes the biggest weapon in a public feud, who really loses? It's a question worth thinking about long after these headlines fade.
You've been listening to StartScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.